A filter can screw onto your engine and still be the wrong filter. That is the trap. The threads might grab, the gasket might almost line up, and from the outside, everything looks fine. Then you start the engine, oil pressure rises, and suddenly oil is leaking past the seal, bypassing filtration or not reaching critical parts the way it should. One small metal can under the engine can decide whether your bearings get clean oil, dirty oil, or not enough oil at all. So, are oil filters universal? No, oil filters are not universal. The myth exists because many oil filters look almost identical. A lot of spin-on filters are just round metal cans. They have a threaded hole in the middle, a rubber sealing gasket around the edge, and they screw onto the engine in the same general way. To a regular owner doing an oil change, they can look like different sizes of the same part. But inside that simple-looking can, several design details are matched to the engine. Those hidden details are what make filters non-universal. The thread size, the gasket diameter, the filter media, the anti-drainback valve, the bypass valve, and even the physical length of the filter can all be different. And those differences are not cosmetic. They control how oil enters the filter, how it gets cleaned, how it behaves during a cold start, and what happens if the filter becomes restricted. Think of it like tires. Many tires are black, round, and made of rubber, but they are not universal. Oil filters are the same idea, just smaller and easier to underestimate. The first thing that varies is the thread size. On a spin-on oil filter, the thread is the spiral cut inside the center hole that lets the filter screw onto the engine. Thread size means two things, the diameter of that hole and the thread pitch. Thread pitch is the distance between each thread, basically how tightly the spiral is spaced. Some filters use metric threads measured in millimeters. Others use SAE threads, which are inch-based sizes commonly used in older or American applications. Two filters may look close, but if the thread diameter or pitch is wrong, the filter may not tighten properly. It can cross-thread, which means the threads cut into each other at the wrong angle, or it may feel tight before the gasket is correctly sealed. The mounting pattern also includes the sealing gasket. That is the rubber ring compressed between the filter and the engine. If the gasket diameter is too large, too small, or lands on the wrong part of the mounting surface, oil can leak under pressure. The second major difference is the filter media. Filter media is the material inside the filter that traps particles. It is usually folded into pleats to create more surface area. More surface area means more room to catch dirt while still letting oil flow. Some filters use cellulose media, which is a paper-based material. Some use synthetic media, made from man-made fibers. Others use blended media, which combines both. Synthetic and blended media often appear in higher-end filters, but the exact performance depends on the design, not just the words on the box. Then you have micron filtration rating. A micron is 1/1,000,000th of a meter, so it is a very tiny unit used to describe particle size. When a filter says it catches particles down to a certain micron size, it is talking about how small the debris can be before the filter is designed to trap it. But smaller is not automatically better if the filter does not also flow enough oil for that engine. An engine oil filter has to balance filtration and flow. It must catch harmful particles, but it cannot be so restrictive that it starves the engine of oil, especially when the oil is cold and thick. The third difference is the anti-drainback valve. The anti-drainback valve is a one-way valve inside many oil filters. In plain language, it is a flap that helps keep oil from draining out of the filter after you shut the engine off. Why does that matter? Because when you start the engine again, especially after it has been sitting overnight, you want oil pressure to build quickly. If the filter on your engine is mounted sideways or upside down, oil can drain back out unless the filter has a proper anti-drainback valve. The fourth difference is the bypass valve. The bypass valve is a safety valve inside the filter, or sometimes inside the engine itself. Its job is to let oil go around the filter media if the media becomes too restricted. That can happen during a very cold start, when oil is thick, or if the filter is clogged. This sounds bad because bypassed oil is not being filtered at that moment. But unfiltered oil is usually better than no oil, because bearings, camshafts, timing components, and turbochargers still need oil flow to survive. The key detail is the bypass valve pressure setting. That means how much pressure difference it takes before the valve opens. One engine may be designed for a lower bypass setting, another may need a higher one. If you install a filter with the wrong bypass setting, it may open too easily and send oil around the filter more often than intended. Or it may not open soon enough when the engine needs flow. This is one of the biggest reasons filters are not universal, even when the outside dimensions look close. The fifth difference is physical size. A taller or wider filter may hold more oil and have more filter media, but that does not mean it belongs on your engine. The filter still has to clear the engine bay, exhaust components, frame, suspension, under tray, and sometimes the radiator fan or steering parts. If a filter is too long, it may hit something during installation. Worse, it may fit while the car is parked, but contact another part when the engine moves on its mounts. Engines are not perfectly still. They twist slightly under acceleration and load. Capacity matters too. The filter is part of the engine's oil system. Manufacturers design oil capacity, oil pressure behavior, and service intervals around the correct filter type. A different size filter is not automatically dangerous, but it must be a correct cross-reference for that application, not a random larger can that happens to screw on. And for cartridge filters, which sit inside a reusable housing instead of being a sealed metal can, size and shape matter even more. The filter element, end caps, seals, and O-rings must match the housing exactly. If you install the wrong oil filter, the best case scenario is simple: it does not fit, leaks immediately, and you catch the mistake before driving. The worst scenarios are the ones that look fine at first. A wrong thread or gasket can create an oil leak. Engine oil is under pressure while the engine is running, so a bad seal can dump oil fast. If the oil level drops too low, the oil pump may start pulling air instead of oil. That is oil starvation, which means engine parts are not getting the oil film they need to stay separated. That oil film is extremely important. Inside the engine, metal parts move very close to each other at high speed, and oil creates a thin protective layer between them. Without enough oil pressure and flow, bearings can overheat, score, or wear very quickly. A wrong bypass valve can let dirty oil circulate more often than intended. A missing or poor anti-drainback valve can cause dry start symptoms in some engines, meaning oil pressure may take longer to build after the car has been sitting. You might hear ticking or rattling for a moment after startup. In extreme cases, the wrong filter can even collapse internally, meaning the filter media or center tube deforms because the oil flow and pressure conditions are wrong. This is not common with a correct quality filter used properly, but it is one more reason not to gamble. So how do you choose the right filter? Start with the owner's manual. Most manufacturers specify the correct oil filter part number, oil type, and oil capacity. If the manual gives you an OEM filter number, OEM means original equipment manufacturer, the part specification used by the vehicle manufacturer or its supplier. Next, use a reputable parts catalog or cross-reference chart. A cross-reference is a list that matches one manufacturer's filter number to another brand's equivalent filter. Use your exact year, make, model, engine size, and sometimes even the engine code. A 2-liter engine and a 2.4-liter engine in the same car model may not use the same filter. A gasoline engine and a diesel engine may differ too. Then compare the new filter to the old one, but do not rely only on appearance. Check the thread, gasket location, height, and overall shape. For cartridge filters, make sure the included O-rings match the ones you remove and replace them in the correct grooves. Avoid close enough filters. If a filter screws on but is not listed for your engine, do not use it. The hidden details are exactly the details you cannot verify just by looking. And finally, buy from a trusted source. Poor quality or counterfeit filters are a real concern in some markets, and a cheap filter is not cheap if it costs you an engine. So the answer is simple: oil filters are not universal, because the filter that almost fits can still leak, bypass, drain back, or restrict oil in ways your engine was never designed for. Use the filter specified for your exact engine. And if this saved you from the idea that if it screws on, it must be fine, like the video and subscribe for more garage-tested maintenance breakdowns.